Don't have too much time. We have about 1 hour. We have 5 speakers. 5 speakers means maximum 10 minutes plus 2 of discussion. Or 8 minutes and 4 minutes of discussion, as you prefer. The first speaker is Meenakshi Bharat. We will speak about sustainable menstruation. Let's see what's sustainable menstruation.
Good morning to everybody. I would thank the organizers and Dr. Madhuri Patil for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Also Dr. Durusha. Menstruation is something that all of us know, and gynecologists especially, it's something that we deal with it on a regular basis. But what is the problem is that we don't think about menstrual health and hygiene very much. We all know that we attain menarche, and sometimes menarche is starting earlier now than 10 years. We approximately have about 420 periods, but very few professionals are actively engaged in the issue of the menstrual health, which I said again. And I was doing a study on, what are the issues, and I can hardly find half a dozen articles on menstrual health and hygiene. So what do we do during our periods? We use, over the years, sanitary napkins and tampons. Sanitary napkins came into being somewhere in the 1930s. Before that, we used to use cloth across the world. And over here, I think up to the 1970s, we were still using cloth. People used to give us tampons, and pads used to come from America for all of us who had relatives there. Our perception is that it is convenient, it is thin with wings, it doesn't move, it's leak-proof, and it's hygienic. But in reality, the pads are now nearly 90% plastic and is associated with health problems, makes the menstrual blood smell. None of us seem to realize that the menstrual blood is stinking now because of the sanitary pads. Of course, it's not biodegradable, cannot be reused, cannot be recycled, and bloats in the water and clogs all the drains when we put it into the drains. Can we prevent this from happening? That's what we need to do. I think some of the older ones remember these sort of pads. I remember these sort of pads that we used to use, bulky ones. What is it in the pads? The pads were produced before 1974, where it became mandatory for all the ingredients to be put. So no manufacturer actually puts the ingredients that are there. It's made of styrene, it's made of chlormethane, it's made of styrofoam, there is acetone in it, and there are lots of pollutants in it that are creating a whole lot of problems. Pads, we accept all the problems. There's chafing of the thighs and genitals, there is repeated cystitis that happens because the infection from the rectum goes to the urethra. There is spreading of the trichomonas infection, there's contact dermatitis, and of course the discomfort of having the pads when we are wearing. Tampons also have a problem. It leaks, it produces dryness in the vagina, and there is again repeated infections of TB and moniliasis. Impact on the health is high. The amount of rashes that have come up and the dysmenorrhea that has increased is because of the pads and the substance which is in the pads. So we need to understand this. And way back in 1962, the Obstetrics and Gynecology journal had published these facts. So chemicals in the pads are there, and it also appears as an ovarian cancer, pelvic inflammatory disease. All these are now becoming more and more in the fore. The impact on the environment is enormous. Sanitary pads are always thrown away into the garbage and is picked up by the unfortunate parakarmikas or the health workers who work on the field to clean up the garbage. And worse, it clogs the drains, and there are so many of these people who have to clean the drains. Why are we doing this to our fellow people? So the solutions are very simple. Instead of pads, tampons and diapers, you can use cloth pads, menstrual cup and cloth diapers. And this is to the people who have gone into using disposable pads. Those of us who are still using cloth pads, you can get to using nice fashionable cloth pads that look very, very pretty. And there are many manufacturers. Oroville is one of them that makes these nice colorful pads. They're healthier, they're greener. You need only to have 5 or 6 pads in a month, which you can use for over 2 to 3 years. And so the money that is spent on the cloth pads are very much less than what you spend on the regular disposable pads. Better than that is the reusable menstrual cup, which is made of silicone grade plastic, medical grade silicone, which is absolutely comfortable. We use all sorts of medical devices which are made of silicone, and so the menstrual cup is now made of silicone, and you can see that they are really small, tiny and very comfortable. You insert it into the vagina. They collect the blood and you can bring it out, wash it and put it back again. It's completely safe and it forms a seal around the vagina. You insert it inside and the vagina forms a nice seal around it, and there is no leaking that happens. One cup can be used for more than 8 years, provided of course you don't lose it. So to insert it, you have to just press it down and insert it into the vagina, and it opens up there, and once it opens up there, it is sitting above the introitus, below the cervix, with the vagina forming a nice ring around it, and the seal is complete. It collects the blood. You actually need to only change it once in 8 to 10 to 12 hours, which means that the frequency of changes is even reduced. During insertion, there needs to be some lubrication. The lubrication is actually water, or the lubrication is your own menstrual blood. Scared of inserting it inside? When our heads get delivered, it's 10 centimeters. This is only 1 3/4 of an inch. So if we can have that head coming out, and if we are comfortable with intercourse, then putting this inside is the least of the problems. You have to squat to put it inside because the angle of the vagina has to be correct. If the angle of the vagina is never correct when you're standing straight, so you need to squat it to be able to insert it comfortably. There is a learning curve like any other new device that you have. It takes about 1 to 2 cycles to become comfortable. Once you're comfortable, you will never go back to using disposable throwaway pads. It may feel messy in the very early stages, but once you realize that it's just your own blood, and like you wash your bottom, you wash this, then there is no problem. And if anybody is worried about the flow back possibility into the uterus, then the cervix contracts as soon as there is any liquid that is being inserted, so that doesn't happen. Secondly, there is less vaginosis, and the biggest advantage is that your mobility is there. You can go cycling, you can go swimming, you can do the marathon, you can feel absolutely comfortable because there's nothing between your legs for those 5-6 days of your periods. Cleaning is also very easy. The amount of water that is needed is very little. So it is actually wash and wear. So do we need to sterilize it? All of us know as gynecologists that the vagina is not a sterile organ, and it is also a wet organ, so this doesn't need to be dry when you insert it. So, like I said, the comfort is the most important, the hygiene is the next important, and the frequency of change is the third important point with the menstrual cup. So, please do use the menstrual cup yourselves. Only if you use it do you realize how wonderful it is and how it makes your period so happy, and it actually even reduces the number of cramps, the dysmenorrhea that you have. So the menstrual cup and the cloth pad are trash-free, rash-free and cash-free periods. So join the Green the Red campaign. We are calling it the Green the Red campaign. Red being the periods, green making it healthy and making it environmentally friendly. And you can start this conversation with everybody. But unless you young gynecologists use it, you can't talk about it. So I put on the menstrual cup one morning and said, before I propagate it, let me wear it and see. I put it on, wasn't difficult. I put it on with the lubrication, water as the lubrication, put it inside, and then I went on to do my yoga. And for the 1 hour that I was doing my yoga, I didn't even realize there was anything between inside my vagina. And the nicer part of it is that this cup need not be removed if you want to pass urine or pass stools, which is what you need to do when you're wearing those disposable pads. So that's the other wonderful part of it. So there are advantages and advantages, very little disadvantages. The learning curve is the disadvantage. Once you have gone through the learning curve, then there is no other problem that is created. So do take up this and propagate it. First use it yourself and then propagate it to all your friends, family, and especially patients. It's just the wonderful thing, and it's made in India now. This is a French menstrual cup. This is the one that comes from America. There are lots of people who make it, but we made it here, and all you have to do is, while removing it, again you have to squat, you have to press it so that the vacuum is removed and it comes down. Wash it and put it back again. It's just absolutely. I wish I hadn't become menopausal, or I wish I had known about it maybe 15 years ago. I'd have loved to use it myself. But everybody in my family and in my circles now use it and swear by it. Thank you very much.
Dr. Minaki, good morning to everybody. Such a new idea, we never know also about that thing. So how many years after this has been used and
Around 5 years.
The first articles that are there came out in 1962. But the point is, I think the industry that makes the pads must have completely suppressed it, like the automobile industry that suppressed mass rapid transport. So this is the same thing. But I think we need to take it across on a health basis and also on the fact that it is so comfortable. And with the environmental problems that we are facing with garbage in every city, Bangalore produces 90 tons, that means 90,000 kgs of sanitary waste every day. So you can reduce it significantly by using this, because this is once in 8 years you have to buy a new one, and this is made of medical grade silicone, and when you burn it, it just becomes sand.
And new thing has come up in our government, I don't know about others. They are providing all fortunate women about 3 packets of pussy. The pads, big pads, they are providing free of cost. So we can motivate the government to
We have to actually motivate the government, and we have to do more research on it so that we, as gynecologists, assure that it works. Secondly, the only time that you cannot wear it is when you have prolapse and post-delivery, the 6
and all
weeks.
cervix
Because
has to be evaluated. Maybe with
cervix has to be evaluated if the lady comes to you. Ideally, it doesn't do anything to the cervix because it doesn't even touch the cervix. It is about a centimeter below the cervix, so it doesn't touch the cervix in any way.
Thank you. Any question from the audience?
We are going to have the questions right after all the sessions are over. So can I invite the next speaker?
Thank you very much.
Can we have Dr.